One of these is the RTX 3080 PC, Xbox Series X, and Google Stadia on the Chromecast Ultra. Can you guess which is which? If you are content with your Google Stadia quality and you don't want to find out what it looks like in comparison to the others, then hit that like button and we'll see you in the next one. For everyone else, do you ever get that feeling where you think something looks absolutely fantastic and then you see something better and then realise just how bad it really looks? Well, unfortunately, that's the case here. We have Google Stadia is actually on the right hand side with the RTX 3080 PC in the middle and the Xbox Series X on the left. Now, PC is just worlds apart here. These are all at 4K and I was just absolutely amazed at just how clear the RTX 3080 gaming PC was. Now, I wasn't expecting it to be quite this much of a step up, even from the Xbox Series X quality. So I'm just going to show a bit of gameplay here and then we'll rule it out for the rest of the video, as Xbox Series X and Stadia are much closer to what we're looking at here. As we switch to the Xbox Series X, we see that the 4K isn't quite as clear as the RTX 3080 version, but it is extremely clear. So after seeing the RTX 3080, I do question whether the Series X is full 4K, but it may be with just those settings dialed down a little bit. But then we switch over to Google Stadia and suddenly it doesn't look so next gen after all. This does look more like an Xbox One or Xbox One X port rather than the next generation console, which is a real shame, as I thought when I played this on the Chromecast Ultra that it looked absolutely fantastic and that this was potentially the next gen port. However, as we put it next to the Series X again, you can see the stark contrast between these two versions. So I don't even think that the Stadia version is 1440 here. It's now looking much more like 1080 upscaled rather than the 2K or 4K of the Xbox Series X, which you're seeing on the right here. So these are both Ultimate Team matches, so this is into the game, so we're past all of the showcases and this is the real world gameplay for both of these scenarios. So on the pitch, it's definitely looking like the Stadia version is not quite as next gen as we hoped. So let's head over to Volta, as I did find that Volta was much more impressive on the Stadia side at least. And we can see on the Xbox Series X here, it is absolutely stunning once again. Both are getting that 60 frames per second, but the Xbox Series X does seem a little bit clearer. So as we switch over to Stadia on Volta, we do see that graphical quality drop a little bit, but it's nowhere near as drastic as it was on the pitch side. So I think Stadia is definitely a lot closer on the Volta side than it is on pitch. So hopefully you can play with the arcade version on Volta and have a lot more fun with it. But otherwise, if you are just having fun with FIFA and you are happy with the quality of Stadia, then that shouldn't detract you from playing. But I do feel for $100, you are getting a very different version of the game than you are on the other consoles. And if you do have access to a virtual PC, that $100 would get you a year's worth of EA Play Pro, which gets the FIFA Ultimate Edition and all the other Ultimate Editions of all of the EA games available on PC. So it does put it in contrast, the cost of the console versions there versus the subscription services available on PC. So virtual PC is definitely an interesting way to look at these sort of games if you want to pay for that subscription. Let us know in the comments below what you think of the Stadia version here compared to the Xbox Series X and RTX 3080. As always, we will keep you updated of all things cloud gaming, and we will see you next time.